All right. Here we are, episode 3 on my podcast, Solve for X, where I get a chance to introduce you, the Ysleta community, to the people and the programs that make this school district the district, and in this case, the District of Champions. I've got Coach Sanchez, the head volleyball coach at Ysleta High School, and with him this morning is Sadie, one of the star players, team captain, leader, right? They've had a run. Most recently, district champions.
That is correct. From our understanding, it was more than 20 years.
I was going to say first time in a long time.
Yes, sir. And, to cap it all off, it was 10-0.
Yes,
so
sir.
It was pretty cool.
10-0 in league.
Yes, in district play.
Okay, so now tell me about you. How long have you been coaching volleyball?
So this is going into my 15th year. So,
at Ysleta High School?
No, so it's my 6th year at Ysleta High School. And then I was at a previous neighbor.
We don't need to go there, right?
That's all. I'm going to keep it at that. Just a neighboring district. So I was there for a few years as well.
So you joined us about 6 years ago?
Correct.
Took over the program?
Well, that's a funny story. So I came over. I resigned from the previous district to kind of take care of my kids, and they're starting to grow up, play t-ball and so forth. So I kind of wanted to watch them grow up. And then about 2 weeks after I resigned, I got a phone call from a coach that was here on campus and says, "Hey, are you interested in coming to Ysleta?" And I'm like, well, I'll think about it. I want to take some time off of my kids. And he's like, well, if you join us in the volleyball staff as a JV volleyball coach, we'll get you in for the baseball program. Well, I graduated from Ysleta, and I played baseball at Ysleta. So I was like, look, if you can get me for baseball, I'll gladly do a JV volleyball, where I was the head varsity at the previous school. So I'm like, I'll gladly go down and do JV. Sure enough, it was kind of like a package deal, and I came on board. So first year I was the JV coach, and then the following year they had me take over the program.
Oh, so they gave you all of a year. Were you comfortable with volleyball? I mean, is it something that, or were you really looking forward to baseball?
Well, I was looking more forward to baseball, and the girls give me a hard time all the time about it. I'm a baseball guy. My son's name is Easton, after baseball equipment. My other son, my oldest, is Derek, after Derek Jeter, the captain. So
wow.
I'm a baseball guy. So being able to coach at Ysleta High School, where I played baseball with Coach Solis, and that's the great stuff that he has, I was like, this is a great opportunity for me to, hopefully my kids will come up and play baseball for us. So I did JV for 1 year, and the position opened up for the head volleyball, and they said, well, we'd like for you to take over. After talking with Coach Martinez, I was like, look, I'll do it for 1 year. I'll stick to it for 1 year and see where it goes. And then I just fell in love with either the program, with what the future of Ysleta volleyball had to offer. We have a lot of resources. We have a lot of support from our staff, from our administration. Coach Martinez has done a great job with athletics, so he supported us with whatever crazy ideas that we throw out at him. So it just made things so much easier, and the transition was just so much easier. So I said, look, I'm going to stick around. I'm going to stick around for a little while, and look where we're at now.
Right. So 5 years later, look at you.
Yes, sir.
Look at you now. Now, are you still the assistant with the varsity baseball program?
No, unfortunately, I resigned last year. Last year's.
Yeah. You guys, you turned him.
Yes.
You redirected him.
Yes.
You told him he had to be all in with volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
No distractions, no baseball.
Yes, sir.
Focus.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So we knew it was going to be a different team from last year compared to the success we had last year to this year. Different team, different squad. So we figured that my son's going to he's a 7th grader now at Ysleta Middle School. So I want to still want to take some time to kind of see him through the process. So once he gets back to high school, or once he gets to high school, should we say, I'll jump back on board if a position's available.
And I'm sure that he's travel team playing baseball somewhere, and that's kind of pulling you. Baseball, well, actually, most sports have become year-round programs. When I played, you could get away with being on the football team and then evolving into basketball, and then my favorite sport was baseball. I was a second baseman in high school, and then they moved me to the outfield in college.
Okay.
Because I have a great bat, not such a great arm. So they put me in right field.
Okay.
Right. But I can relate to the baseball bug. Loved it. Did it my entire life. And something that really shaped a lot of what I use in leadership and motivating, inspiring people. But what about Sadie? How long you been playing volleyball, girl?
I've been playing for 7 years.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
You started young.
Yes, I did.
Is it the only sport you play?
No, actually, growing up, I played softball. And then my sophomore year of high school, I kind of told my parents that I was all in or all out on either one. And I picked volleyball, and I don't regret it at all.
Okay. And you're a defensive player? Or
Yes, sir. I'm a defensive specialist.
I'm not sure how they do positions in volleyball.
Yes, sir. I'm a defensive specialist.
Yeah, I'm going to admit something right now, and that is I don't know much about volleyball. I know that when I've watched beach volleyball on TV or the Olympics, there's some phenomenal athletes,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and they can get up and all of that. So last year, y'all started to see the results that you'd been working hard to see for a long time, and you went 10-0.
Yes, sir.
That had to feel good.
Yes, it did. It felt amazing.
Did you get a lot of support from parents and your peers? Students start showing up at games?
Yes, there was a tremendous amount of support from the community to students to classmates. It was like every single day I would walk into class and they were always asking when our next game was. It was a lot of support.
So who was the team to beat? Or were there more than one team to beat that you knew you had to get through if you were going to go undefeated?
The team to beat at the moment was definitely Del Valle because that was marking where we were going to get our gold ball. And we knew that when we were going into that game, we were determined that we were going to beat them on their court.
Okay. How many girls do you carry on a typical volleyball team?
Roughly at the varsity level, 12, 13 girls. That's kind of where we want to be at. At the lower levels, 14, 15. But, you kind of start getting a little bit of issues with the playing time and so forth. So we try to keep it between 12, 14 kids max.
You ready? Here we go. And how many actually play at the same time?
6 for the most part. And
It's
then
not like PE where you rotate, like...
you
or is
rotate
it-
and then people go in and out.
Okay.
Hmm.
But
So-
it's not like football or basketball where you can just kind of sub in for whoever you would like.
It's got to be in order.
Correct. So if, for example, if Sadie subs in for you, you can't sub in for me and I can't sub in for someone else. It's you got a special person you got to go and sub in for the most part.
You got to be strategic, Coach.
Strategic, that's correct.
Really strategic. And so for all of that great experience, Ysleta High School's back. They won a district championship 2 decades since something like that happened. Y'all started talking about doing something special this year, as I understand, way back in November of 2023 when Coach decided you guys deserve sort of an out-of-the-box experience to do
Yes.
something that very few of our volleyball programs have had a chance to do. How did that develop and evolve?
So it started, I want to say it started back in 2021, more or less. So not the Hawaii part, but that's kind of when we started seeing a little bit of success with Ysleta volleyball. We started realizing that we had some good athletes on our campus in Lower Valley, and we could play with some of these big dogs that we call, the Eastwoods, the Eldorados, the Coronado, and so forth. Not necessarily we're going to beat them, but we're going to compete, and that's we kind of started seeing that little trend. What kind of pushed us over the limit was our win against El Paso High. So El Paso High is considered one of the top volleyball programs in our city. So we saw them in our bi-district round, and pretty much everyone counted us out, right? So David Goliath kind of thing. So we ended up beating them. We had a big old upset, and our gym was full. It was amazing. The community was amazing. That's kind of when it started turning for us, right? So we decided that we were going to go play out of town. So we said, what tournament are we going to look at? Kind of did some research, talking to some people, and we found a tournament out in Orlando, Florida. So that's our first tournament out of state, right? So we went up there and we competed at a high level, and then it was like girls had a great time up there. Great experience for them. At the time, we took, I think it was 17 girls, I believe it was, and of those 17, only 2 had ever been on an airplane. We had a few that had been out of state but have never been to Florida. So right off the bat, we're like, this is eye-opening. Like, this is going to be a great experience for our girls. I mean, to the point where we had to almost drag some of the girls onto the plane because they were scared, you know.
Yeah.
We had to switch some seats around and say, hey, you're going to have to sit next to those coaches so that we can make sure that you're going to be okay. So for that was great for us. So we ended up doing Orlando, Florida for 3 years. And then last year, you know, with our crazy success that we had last year with our amazing season, I'm the type of coach that, like, I want to give these kids an opportunity, right? I grew up in Ysleta, right across the street, right behind the McDonald's, and I living with my grandparents, and my mom had to work 3 jobs to make sure that we had what we could afford at the time, right? So I wanted to bring that same mentality to our kids, is give them that opportunity. So when we started talking about it, I was like, let's go somewhere bigger. So I started looking online and found the tournament out in Hawaii. And when I first brought it to Coach Martinez, again, he's a big supporter of not just our overall campus or athletics, but he's a big part of female sports on our campus. That's one reason that I'm still at Ysleta, I'll be honest with you, is because of him and because of the support that they're willing to give us, right, for our girls' sports. So I brought it up to him. I said, hey, Coach, what do you think? He's like, do it. He's like, the worst thing they could say is no. So sure enough, we brought it up to Miss Garcia, our principal, and she's like, Coach, this is amazing. Let's see what we can do. So we kind of started putting a plan together, started talking to you all up here at central office and Ms. Rendon, and got her blessing. And, you know, there's a lot of paperwork, right?
Yeah.
Tons of paperwork.
Always.
We had to get your permission, and so thank you all for that. And but this was an opportunity for us that it wasn't easy. It was a lot of paperwork. And I tell the girls all the time, you know, appreciate all the behind the scenes stuff. I was just talking to her about this little setup here. Like, you see the big picture, but you don't see the stuff that happens behind the scenes, right? So,
Right.
you know, I tell the girls, just appreciate what you have and let's go out and compete. That's it. That's all we can ask for. So we went out to Hawaii, and of course we had a great time. I'm sure she'll tell you a lot more about it than I will.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important, you know, what a lot of people in maybe other cities and other economies, other realities may take for granted: airline travel,
Correct.
hotels, resorts, and competing in other states, sometimes other countries, is really foreign to a modest, I like to say, hardworking, blue-collar community that most of El Paso is that.
Right.
And so in addition to, I think, wanting kids to get a great experience in the classroom and be, you know, academically prepared to go to the next level, college, career, military, life readiness, we also have the added responsibility of coming up with the resources to help kids who otherwise would not maybe be able to participate in athletics, fine arts, you know, extracurricular, co-curricular activities that in other communities are, in many cases, addressed with, you know, travel teams and, you know, the city sport leagues and, you know, some pretty prestigious stuff. Our community, our students depend heavily on their school district to do right by them and give them access and opportunity. And now you've taken it a step beyond that. And not only am I going to give you a great education and you're going to get a very rewarding and fulfilling experience as an athlete, student athlete, but I want you to at least have 1-2 opportunities to leave Texas, to see what it's like to fly somewhere else, to stay at a nice 4-star, 5-star resort, to see the ocean. A lot of people don't realize that the majority of the kids that go to school in the Ysleta Independent School District have never been to the beach. They've never seen the ocean. All they know is what they see in books and on the internet and things like that. So that becomes, I think, something that as a school system, and I think you've described it perfectly, that whenever we get the opportunity, if we can find a way to collect the resources, your trip, I understand, cost almost $40,000, right? That may not be that significant in some other places, but that's significant here. And I think what it does is it shows that both the parents and I'm sure that the business community and others came together to support the girls so that they could have this experience And that says a lot about, the Ysleta community, and that is that, look, they've passed two multi-million-dollar bonds, $430.5 million in 2015, $425 million in 2019. And most of the people that vote in our district no longer have children, grandchildren, maybe even great-grandchildren in our schools. But they recognize how important the school system is to the future and the economic prosperity, the quality of life that we will enjoy and that they will enjoy as retirees and as adults based on the experiences that you guys have and how successful you are in life. And that involves travel and exposure and experience that you're now getting. So I'm going to move into the experience you must have had, and that is, here you go, you're on a team of 15, 16 girls. You're headed to Hawaii, and you realize, how many of you had ever been on an airplane before and flown out of the state? Do you know?
I think more than half of us have been on an airplane, but
Was
I
it
think
because of the Orlando experience?
Yes.
Right.
But I want to say only 2 of us have ever been to Hawaii, so it was a really fulfilling experience.
I've never been to Hawaii, and I grew up in California. It was just out there in the ocean, and I've never been to Hawaii. When I heard that y'all were getting to go to Hawaii, I couldn't think of a district or kids in a school district who would deserve that experience more than kids in this school district, and so that was really special. First impressions when you get off the plane, was it like what you thought you'd see or what you saw in the brochures?
No, it was not. It was completely different. I didn't even think to expect as much volcano rock as there was getting off of the airplane, but the ocean was just beautiful. Flying over the ocean was unreal. I mean, I looked over at one of our assistant coaches and I told her, like, we're here in Hawaii. Like, it hit me right then and there when we were flying over the ocean.
What island were you on?
We were on the Big Island.
The Big Island, Honolulu?
No, that's the small
island. Is that the small island?
Hopefully next
year.
I thought
I'd never been. I heard there was multiple islands out there.
Yeah, so it was a Big Island. So we flew into Kona, and then we had to drive an hour and a half to Hilo. So our competition, our tournament, and we were staying was in Hilo.
And you were guaranteed a certain number of matches?
Correct.
Yes.
8 games.
Okay. What was the talent like, and where were some of the schools from? Were they all Hawaiian schools, or did they come from other parts of the United States?
No, there was schools from Nevada, from California, from Vegas, from Hawaii, from all over the country.
Yeah, and so who'd you line up with first?
Right off the bat, they put us against a Hawaiian team.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, that's fine with us, right? That's why we want to go to these big tournaments to play some really tough competition. So as you mentioned, we faced the Hawaii, Oregon, Nevada teams, California, of course. But you're talking about Hawaii. The team from Hawaii were just amazing. You're talking about 6'3", 6'4" girls.
Tall.
Our tallest girl is 5'10", if that. And 6'3", 6'4" girls all the way around. I mean, you're talking about a whole team full of them. So that was pretty cool.
That sounds like the St. John Bosco
Yes.
Eastwood game.
Yes.
There are some big Division I people out there, and I think what's rewarding about it is you guys were probably scrappy, and you gave them everything that they could ask for, and so that's got to be awesome. Your highlight of the trip?
Definitely the second game that we had. We struggled a lot. It was a very, very scrappy game, and one of the girls had came up to us, and she told us that she had never seen a team put up a fight like we did against them. And it was very, from coming from a girl who tries to lead her team, tries to be a role model for her teammates, it definitely was like, we're doing something good, coming all the way from Texas and representing Texas and our school district and the Lower Valley, that we put up a fight against girls from all the way from Hawaii.
Wow. And California? Who'd you play in California?
Correct.
I know the state.
And there was 40 total teams that participated in this. 40 teams. So, and out of all those 40, there was only 2 from Texas, which is us and San Antonio.
Okay.
And that San Antonio team was Cornerstone, which nationally ranked, and they ended up taking the whole tournament. But it was good for us, exposure for us for Texas, to represent Texas, and of course El Paso.
And, one of the things is, being exposed to and having access to all of this, but it also has, I think, a life-lasting impact on the camaraderie and the closeness of your team when you guys are all together
Yeah.
on a trip. Many of them probably without, their parents there. And so you guys, I'm sure, bonded and feel really good
We
about.
bonded like crazy, and now that we're back from the trip, we're closer than ever before.
I can imagine.
Yes, we're really close. Staying in a hotel with them for almost a week was very challenging, but we got super, super close and learned a lot about each other throughout the trip.
Yeah, did you guys get caught sneaking out of the hotel rooms?
Oh, no, we were,
No.
the time change in Hawaii was so hard for us. We were asleep right
Uh-huh.
when we got back to the hotel.
Did the coaches put tape on the doors
Yes,
in the evening?
Yes, they did.
We had to.
Right.
We had
Mhm.
to.
We
Old
know-
school.
Yeah, that's the way we were trained. And
Yeah.
you guys broke bread together 3 times a day and became a family.
Yes, we did.
And do you think it's going to translate or transfer to another great season here at home?
100%, yes. It's already impacting us a lot with the chemistry that we have on the court, and it's already showing throughout our season right now. It's definitely going to transfer.
You guys doing well right now?
Yes, sir.
Still undefeated?
No, we got lucky to have a very tough schedule. It's definitely challenged us a lot, but it's definitely been pushing us to play to our 100% every single game.
So has league started yet?
Not yet. We
No.
start off next Friday, or this
Okay.
coming Friday. We open up in Mountain View. So we, as soon as we got back from Hawaii, we had faced Coronado,
Oh.
top team in the district, in the city, and then we had Socorro, which is another 6A school, and then we just finished playing against Burgess, which is always a good volleyball program. So we've had our licks right the last few weeks, but like as mentioned, as Sadie mentioned, that's going to prepare us for a district play.
Yeah, that's exactly what Coach Lopez said when he said people ask him, "What are you doing going out and playing someone like that?"
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what we arrived at, and what I think you'll arrive at, is that it's probably safe to say you're not going to ever be intimidated by anybody that you play in your league going in, given that you've already played teams from Hawaii, Oregon, California, Coronado, 6A teams. It's gonna set you up and position you for another great year. This year, the goal is probably not just district, but
You know what? I'm a firm believer. I always tell my girls to compete.
yeah,
Compete. I've never been big on saying that we're gonna win. I'm not big. Hey, you have to win today. Our ultimate goal, of course, is to win, right? But I don't think we should be saying that. At least my
Yeah,
philosophy,
no.
because if you're not there to win, there's no point in even showing up.
That's a
right?
given.
It should be a given, right? So I tell the girls, just compete tonight. Whether we win, lose, let's go out and compete. And like that young lady told Sadie over there in Hawaii, like, hey, you guys fought. We didn't think you guys were gonna put up that big of a fight. So I will take those little small victories, even though we lose the game. Take those small victories with us and carry it
Yeah.
on to the next game.
Okay. Who'd you play in the by district last year?
Canotillo, right?
We beat Canotillo
Yes, we
yesterday.
beat
last year.
Canotillo.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, we're all wishing you guys an amazing year. We
Thank
think
you.
we think it will happen. We're going to try and get out and watch you and get a little video and see what you're all about.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for coming on and letting people in our community, maybe even our city, know that the Ysleta High School ladies volleyball team, varsity team, is on the map.
Yes, sir.
And not just in Texas, they're on the map in the Western Hemisphere. It's
Mhm.
been very nice meeting you, Sadie.
Thank you.
Coach, thank you so much. I look forward to getting out and watching one of your games.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.